These clips start off normal until something impossible happens. From real child ghosts caught on camera to spirits of deceased people returning. Each clip ends with a twist you won't see coming.
Can you tell me what you want? And he's gone.
Locals say the house had been abandoned since the 80s, after the family that once lived there moved out without explanation. So when this man walked in with his camera, he expected creaky floors, maybe some mold. What he didn't expect was what showed up on his screen. Two girls, identical in appearance, standing side by side in the center of a dusty living room. He turned away, confused, maybe adjusting the lens. But when he looked back, they were gone. And the weird part? The video file was corrupted. Only that one frame remained. Some say it's just tech acting up. Others say the house never truly let them leave. Mysterious ghost encounter. They had just started feeling at home when something strange happened one night. The man woke up to the sound of a child quietly crying. When he stepped into the hallway, he saw a small figure walking ahead. It looked exactly like his son. So he called out and followed. But before he could get close, his wife spoke from behind. She said their son hadn't moved. He was still fast asleep in bed. The next morning, the camera footage confirmed it. A childlike figure had passed through the hallway, moving silently before it disappeared. They liked to believe it was a peaceful spirit welcoming them in, but something about it still didn't feel right.
Good.
Haunted past. A girl was on a Zoom call with her friend, just hanging out at home. Everything felt normal, until her friend leaned into the screen and asked, "Is someone behind you?" She turned slowly toward the door. In the low light, there was a small figure standing still. It looked like a kid, but the face was off, almost too blurry to be real. Before she could say a word, the figure rushed toward her, moving fast and unnatural, and slammed the door shut behind it. Turns out, the previous owner wasn't a good human being, and the police had to take him out inside of the house because he was holding his entire family hostage.
Accident, and I had to have surgery, and it was the first time we were apart since I was really little.
White Road Phantom. This video has been floating around Facebook, and it's giving people chills. On the night of February 22nd, 2016, a man was riding his motorcycle alone on a quiet road. Everything was calm, until a woman in white appeared right in front of him out of nowhere. He slammed the brakes, but she vanished instantly. Thinking his mind was playing tricks, he stopped to check. That's when she showed up again, closer this time. Terrified, he ditched the bike and ran. Locals found him screaming nearby. He recovered, but said something followed him home and never left. Creepy knock. A man kept hearing knocks at his front door every single morning just before sunrise. Same time, same sound. He started to think it wasn't just a random noise, especially after hearing rumors about a child who once lived in the house but never grew up. One morning, he looked out the window and saw something small, like a child, just standing there. When he opened the door, no one was there, but it felt like something had been, and maybe still was. Kitchen poltergeist. A kid was helping his mom in the kitchen when something weird happened. A cereal box suddenly lifted and dropped, even though no one touched it. Then a cloth floated in from another room, twisting in the air like someone had carried it. More things started shifting on their own, but there was no one else around. The movement lasted a few seconds and then stopped. Whatever was in that kitchen never showed itself, but it clearly wanted them to know it was there. Clapping hands.
Papa, dumi smile sa puto.
The father thought it was cute, his son clapping alone in the room, laughing at something unseen. He was playing with such joy that it didn't raise an alarm until the father stepped closer. That's when he saw it. 2 pale hands floating in the air, clapping in perfect sync with the child. He ran forward, yelling his son's name, but as soon as he entered, the hands were gone. Neighbors claimed it used to be a prayer space, one that was shut down after strange things began happening. Objects moving, whispers at night, and yes, even disembodied hands. They moved out. Now it's this family's problem.
Assalamualaikum.
Doorway watcher. The couple thought it'd be fun to record a dance challenge late at night. They were mid-spin when the door behind them flew wide open. Both froze as a tall, dark figure filled the space behind them. They didn't wait to look twice. The phone hit the floor as they bolted outside. Later, they checked every room. The windows were locked and no signs of forced entry. But in the footage, the door didn't open on its own. Something opened it. Wall watcher.
Sí, claro, es que fueron todos, o sea, yo apenas escuché que hicieron...
The man had just climbed up to fix a loose light, standing on a chair in the hallway of his rental home. The place had a strange feel since the day he moved in. Cold in certain corners, doors creaking even when shut tight, but he always brushed it off. While adjusting the fixture, his eyes drifted toward the wall beside him. A faint shape was pressing through the surface. A face, flat and emotionless, began to form like something behind the wall was trying to come through. This was the first time he saw it, and now he knew why he was feeling the way he did.
Look at you.
Hair puller.
Okay. Something just took my hair.
The house had always been normal. These sisters had lived there for years, shared a room, shared secrets, shared everything. One night, something different happened. They were just sitting on the bed when one of them yelped. Her hair had been yanked hard from behind, but before she could speak, the other sister cried out too, grabbing her head as if something was tugging at her hair now. The door was still shut. No one else was there. So how are you going to explain this?
I'm not joking, something just took my hair.
What do you mean something took
I don't know.
No, I'm coming out! I'm coming out!
Kitchen ghost.
Mommy, look at me. What are you scared of?
The family had recently moved into that house, ignoring the old rumors about things seen near the kitchen after dark. That evening, everything seemed fine. 2 little girls were playing together, surrounded by toys and soft laughter. But then, the youngest froze. Her eyes locked onto the dark kitchen behind them, and her face changed. Her mom, who was casually filming them, noticed the shift and tried to reassure her.
The fish died.
What?
Angel's sleeping already. It's raining, girls.
But the girl's fear only grew. When her friend turned to see what she was looking at, the laughter stopped. Both screamed and bolted, running into the mother's arms. But nothing could be seen in the video. Still, everyone in that room swore the kitchen wasn't empty. Curtain visitor. That house had been passed down for generations, but no one stayed long in the upstairs bedroom. They said it had bad dreams. One night, a man decided to test the theory. He set up a camera and fell asleep like usual. Around 2 a.m., something changed. The curtains began to sway, even though all windows were shut tight. A faint white blur appeared, hovering just beside the fabric. As the camera rolled, the man's body began twitching unnaturally, his arms moving as if being pulled, his face scrunched in discomfort. Then he shot up, rubbing his head, confused and dazed. When he reviewed the footage the next day, he realized what had happened. Loop walker. This part of the neighborhood had stories about a girl who once lived there, who wandered off during a storm and was never found. Most people brushed it off, but then one man started hearing things. Late at night, from his terrace, came the sound of anklets, soft, steady jingles that didn't match anyone he knew. He grabbed his phone and started filming. That's when he saw her. A girl dressed in white, slowly circling the exact same spot near a tree below. She just walked in that perfect loop, again and again. He asked around the next day. No one else had seen her. Some even laughed it off. But for him, she was real. Basement shadow.
Can you tell me what you want?
This house had one rule: don't open the basement door at night. One night, that door opened on its own. The man living there had heard sounds before, soft whispers or light taps. But this time, he went to check. With his flashlight on, he stepped inside. That's when he saw it. A small shadow, child-sized, just barely peeking from behind the basement wall. As soon as the light hit it, the shape vanished. But every time he moved, it reappeared from a different wall. Never running, never making a sound. He circled the basement 3 times. Same thing. That shadow never let itself be caught, but it made sure it was seen.
How do you do that?
Shadow by the fire. They say you shouldn't light fires near the woods at dawn. The family had heard the warnings before, but to them, it was just an old tale their grandfather used to tell. That night, they stayed at a small cabin in the countryside, huddled around a fire pit, roasting food and laughing. The camera was on, casually filming their peaceful moment. But when they reviewed the footage the next morning, their smiles faded. Just beyond the circle of light, half hidden in the darkness, was a tall, still figure. Long hair covered its face, and it didn't move at all. The flames flickered in front of it, but it stood like stone. Many who've seen the clip believe it resembled La Llorona, the crying spirit said to wander near rivers and fires. Whatever it was, it had been right there with them. It wasn't an old wise tale anymore. Haunted doll. The haunted house had a reputation. Visitors often claimed to feel cold touches, hear whispers, or see dolls move on their own. But when he walked in with his camera, hoping for something chilling, it just felt normal. He was a little let down. But later that night, while casually scrolling through the footage, something caught his eye. One of the porcelain dolls, sitting on a shelf, had changed position. Its head had turned ever so slightly, now facing the camera in a way it hadn't before. The head had moved. There was no one else in the room. Trapped inside Nashville. Locals always said the old Nashville prison was cursed. Some even claimed it was still occupied by spirits that never left. But to him, it was just another forgotten building to explore. He brought his camera, hoping for some cool shots, but what he got was something else entirely. At first, he just heard creaking. That's when he saw it. A figure, completely still, standing in the hallway just ahead. Turns out, the stories weren't for tourists. That place still belonged to something or someone. Memory ruined. They were out enjoying a quiet evening. The mother had just pulled out her phone to capture a wholesome moment. But then, something odd showed up in the frame. Behind them was a second figure. It was dancing along with them. No one else had been there. They didn't notice anything strange at the time. So seeing this happy moment turned out to be not so happy after all. Unseen ritual moment. The room looked empty to anyone else, but the man sitting inside that room knew exactly what it was meant for. He was trying to communicate with something ancient, something most wouldn't dare call out. That night, he sat alone in silence, performing a ritual that had been passed down through generations. And then, out of nowhere, a loud crack tore through the room. There was no wind, and nothing else in the room moved. People watching the clip later said he had tried to summon a jinn, but not all spirits come quietly. Lightning Boy. In a small town in Brazil, there had always been whispers about certain children being born with a gift, or maybe a curse. One summer afternoon, those whispers felt very real. A boy stood barefoot by the door, his grandmother reaching for the handle. He quietly said, "Don't go yet." It was too calm, like he already knew something was coming. She paused, unsure why she listened, until lightning struck the ground right outside, exactly where she was about to step. She didn't speak for a while after that. So did the boy know what was going to happen? Glowing one. The land around his home was bordered by trees and brush. But that night, something felt off. The sounds began softly, like bare feet scraping against concrete just outside his bedroom window. He stepped out with his phone, expecting maybe a stray animal. But what he saw was not something he could explain. Two shapes stood near the far edge of the yard, one tall, one hunched. The taller one had a single glowing eye, red, steady, locked on him. By the time he took a step forward, they faded into the dark. Possessed lady. Locals said that house was never really abandoned, it just pushed people out. But the group didn't care. They wanted a thrill, just some harmless exploring. They were barely past the entry hall when one of the girls stopped mid-step. She clutched her head, her breathing quick and uneven. Before anyone could react, she dropped to the floor and started rocking back and forth. Then her voice changed. They never finished the tour. One of the friends later found out the house once belonged to a woman accused of dark rituals. She vanished decades ago, which might explain what just happened. Well, watcher. On an old farm, a single security camera kept an eye on the livestock. The well behind the barn hadn't been used in years. But one evening, the camera caught something it wasn't meant to. A small figure sat near the edge of the well. At first glance, it looked like a child crouched in the dirt. But then it turned. The eyes, bright, unnatural, locked onto the lens. Not once did it blink. Then slowly, its body began to fade, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but the empty well. Mirror's twin. Found inside a long, abandoned estate, the mirror had been passed down, covered more than it was used. But this woman didn't know that. She was just filming a quick video. As she leaned toward the glass, her reflection stopped following. Her real eyes moved, but the ones in the mirror didn't. The face looking back felt wrong, not opposite, but separate. People online called it demonic. Some claimed mirrors trap things when homes are built over the wrong ground. Shadow behind glass.
This is a turning board, and I'm going to turn.
She was standing in front of the mirror, filming a beauty tutorial in her bedroom. Same setup, same routine. But halfway through the clip, something passed in the reflection. A dark figure, shapeless, drifted behind her in the mirror. She didn't hear it. She only saw it after she paused, noticing something off in the footage. Have a look. Hallway ghost.
Y una de ellas miraba a una niña.
They came for the thrill, a late-night dare to explore a decaying house at the edge of town. The place had always carried rumors. A girl who vanished years ago, last seen near those very steps. But the group didn't believe in that kind of thing. They kicked through broken tiles and cobwebs, until one of them stopped cold. Just ahead, behind a cracked wall, something was watching. A small girl, her skin pale like paper, slowly stepped into view. No one waited to see more. They ran, the sound of creaking floorboards chasing them out. But even long after they left, they said they could see her face looking at them from inside the house.
¿Y si me asomo nada más?
Doorway vanish.
Puedes hacerlo, ven para acá. Te lo estoy ordenando, pequeña, ven.
This video spread fast, not because of what it shows, but because of what disappears. A young girl stands outside a room, not speaking, just staring. Inside, a woman gently reaches out, trying to bring her in. Her voice is soft, like she's trying not to scare her. But then, the girl is gone, and those who've seen the clip swear there has to be something more to it. Hidden in tiles. The house had been empty for years, boarded up, ignored. But that didn't stop this man from live streaming his way through it, looking for proof that the ghost stories were real. He turned into the bathroom. Tucked behind the wall, just beneath the cracked mirror, was something crouched. At first, it looked like a shadow, but then the shape came into focus. A small, ghostly figure staring straight at the camera. He stepped closer, but this ghost vanished. His chat exploded with panic, frame by frame breakdowns trying to make sense of it. But no one could. Peeking ghost. Near the edge of the woods sits a collapsed building few people dare to approach. The locals say it used to be a shelter or a school. No one really remembers, but the stories are creepy. One man, just passing by, noticed something strange, a pale face watching him from behind a crumbling wall. He paused, unsure if it was real, but as he moved closer, the face slipped out of view. When he reached the wall, it was gone. Now this could be a homeless person, or worse, the ghost of someone who was inside when it collapsed. Invisible guest.
Liam, come here. Liam, right now.
It was a quiet evening. The babysitter sat alone, the child playing a few feet away, cartoons humming softly in the background. Then, without warning, the wooden chair beside her began to rock, slowly, like someone had just sat down. The child hadn't touched it, and since the windows were closed, no wind could have done it either. She dialed the mother immediately and told her that there was a ghost inside her home.
What is happening? Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here.
Dark doorway.
Mom! What? There's something under the... What the hell?
Since the day they moved in, this family knew something was off, but it was the boy who saw it first. A figure, all black, standing just inside the right-hand door. Terrified, the boy clung to his mother, but she stayed calm.
It's okay, stop, Yakub. Don't scream. Don't be scared. It's okay.
She gently closed the door, sat beside her son, and held him. But seconds later, the door creaked open again. The video cuts off there, but people who've seen it say it feels like something is still in that house.
Go in! Go in, this is my house! You're not out!
Window watcher.
Yo! The fuck is that?
During a quiet night walk, a man slowed near an old, abandoned house. He raised his flashlight. Behind the curtain, a figure stood, pale face, frozen expression, watching him. The house had been abandoned for years, left to rot. Yet that thing stood there like it never left. Some say the last resident vanished during a storm, and the house hasn't been empty since.
See movement then? Move the light.
Creepy date.
I'm possessed.
Sorry?
Possessed.
It started as a casual night out. Just two people talking, laughing, connecting. But something about her started to shift. Her voice dipped low, and her expression dulled, almost like she wasn't there anymore.
That's fine. Yeah.
The boy laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but her eyes didn't blink, her smile didn't move. He kept recording, not sure what else to do. Maybe she was joking, or maybe something else had come along for the date.
That's fine. Yeah. Yo, what?
Sorry, what did...
Kitchen visitor. Late at night, a boy was sitting alone at home when he heard strange noises around his house. Drawn by the sound, he stepped inside and spotted something odd. Behind the shelf, a child crouched low, smiling, almost like it was playing hide and seek. It wasn't a shadow or trick of the light. It looked like a real boy. Some viewers believe it was a duppy, a spirit said to mimic lost children, slipping in and out unnoticed. And this one? It seemed to know the house well. And now, let's move on to the subscribers pick. This CCTV footage shows 3 girls playing in the lounge while their parents were away. One girl walks into the hallway holding something in her hand. But then, without warning, she slowly rises into the air like something invisible picked her up. The other 2 girls panic and run. Within seconds, the girl drops back to the floor like nothing happened. Later, when the parents watched the video, their expressions were the same as yours. They were shocked. But even after checking everything, they found nothing.